I just walked out the back door, and every time I do, I get to see this, so I thought I would just share it with you. How pretty! Doesn't that just remind you of a Monet painting or a Van Gogh painting or something? But I've been sharing tons of pictures of these on social media, and they're just gorgeous. I would say these are in full bloom, but they're really not. So these will bloom one time in the spring, and then they bloom again the next spring. I think that's what makes them so precious to me. But whenever they start to unfold, it just looks to me like purple satin, right? And every state of its unfolding, I just feel a poem. Like every evolution of this flower coming out is just gorgeous. Okay, remember right after the winter storm, I was saying when there's a big weather event, that's a great time to go identify microclimates. And here's why microclimates matter. I just came around from the back side of the house. That's a little sun trap. That's one patch. What I really wanted to show you is this patch right here. They're blooming a little bit later. It's kind of like succession planting with perennials, depending on the microclimate. I've been watching them for a couple of years, and these always bloom later than the ones in the back. Now let's go over here. Those were on the north-facing side. It's cooler there, and the back side of the house is the south-facing side. It's in a little sun trap. So this is also telling me a lot about the microclimates. So it's a little bit cooler here. There's a lot of aeration going on right in here. This one is blooming later than the one behind the house. That soccer ball is still there. But yeah, so these are blooming later. Still have my wagon there too. You can tell I've been busy. And then it's a little bit warmer here. There's probably more direct sun here than there is in this little microclimate right here because of it's into the understory of that live oak tree. And then here's another patch right here. I spread these all over. It's kind of my spray and pray method just to see where they're happiest. So irises, I found out, I always love irises from the time I was a little kid, and I wanted some. And I never had any until we moved to this location. And I did a whole podcast on where to find a lot of free plants. And I did get these for free. I bought one bulb and I paid $5 for it. And then a lady gave me buckets of these. And it's a whole story. You can go listen to the Ediful Gardens podcast, but I call them Alice's irises. One of the other things that I've noticed about irises is they're very trendy as far as fashionable. They go in fashion and out of fashion. So it's considered a reminiscent flower. It's considered something your grandma had, right? And when times get tough, then people tend to go more vintage. But I heard a landscaper talking about how everybody wanted irises and then nobody wanted irises. But they are kind of a mess to clean up sometimes. Like when they're done for the spring. All you have is the leaf texture in your edible landscapes. But yeah, I wanted to show you this one more patch right here. We redid the fence along the eastern side of the property. We put in a pipe fence, and these just kind of popped up. So the other thing about irises is they need to be dug up and divided. If they just sit too long, all squinched together, it's like crocuses or any other kind of bulb. You plant these from a bulb, or you can plant them from seed, but you plant them usually from a bulb. Then if they get too tight, squeezed in together, they just can't flower. But they were here when we bought the house. Little old farmhouse built in the 1930s. And when we dug up this fence, or the old fence that was there to put in the new fence, they all just came to life. And they're beautiful and they're white. So all the other irises that I have, they're all purple. But these are all white. And so I think what I'll be doing after these bloom, because they're just too pretty, I don't have the heart to disturb them right now. After these bloom this year, I'm going to spread them around a lot more. So they'll be able to propagate more bulbs for me, or maybe even to share. You know, maybe I'll pay it forward. And they're just white, they're just gorgeous. And here's how I know they're going to be blooming again this year. They're starting to put on their little buds. So just to have those just kind of all over. As a matter of fact, when we were moving dirt around, some of them got put over there on the other side of the fence, so I need to go rescue those. I don't know if you'll find this interesting, but I thought it was really interesting. So every year, the purple irises bloom first, and the white irises bloom last. These are the Dutch irises. They've already played out. These are the purple blooms. I want to make sure I don't step on my edamame. These were the purple blooms, and then the white ones came out. So it was the same for the Dutch irises. Now you may be asking me, are irises edible? I don't know. I don't really subscribe to the idea that you cannot put something that's not edible in your edible landscapes. I do it all the time. I am after the aesthetic part of it. I'm after the insectary part of it. There's things that I put in there that I would never eat, but I might consider it medicinal. Okay. But something like the sweet alyssum and like cannas, I find out after I've already put them in my edible landscapes that, or hostas, or daylilies, that people eat these in other countries. And I just find out about them kind of slowly over time, that it's something that other people, maybe in third world countries, or maybe just another country where they have a different kind of lifestyle, where they eat things that we don't normally eat, you know, that it is edible, or that it's not toxic, it's not poisonous. So I don't know. I don't know about irises, but probably one of these days, let me know if you know, especially if you're from another country. I just saw something on Netflix that there was someone in another country, I want to say she was Asian. Yeah, she was definitely Asian. I don't know what country it was. And they were eating the lilies, the bulbs from the lilies. I don't know what kind of lilies, I don't know. But anyway, so irises, yeah, I just love them. I'm kind of in love right now, and I think it's because it's like a fleeting thing, right? They only bloom in the spring and then they're done. And then I have to wait until next year. I think that's what makes them so special. So yeah, we got a lot going on. I'm gonna do a tour of the whole thing later. But for right now, I just thought I would just share the irises with you. And I see the larkspurs not far behind. And then after that, it's gonna be the gladiolas. So it's a different kind of succession, you know, planting, even though they're perennials. If they're in different microclimates, they bloom at different times, which I think is really interesting. If they're different colors, they bloom at different. There's just so much to say about the irises that I never really thought I could talk that long about irises, but they're so pretty. All right, that's gonna do it for this one. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you know someone who's really into it, then there's a little share button down here. And hit that thumbs up. Did I already say that? If you liked it. And don't forget to subscribe. That's going to do it for this one. Y'all go get you some irises. They're so cool. All right. Talk to you later. Bye for now. Lovely. I didn't wash my hands before I started the video. Oh, well. I have a spare of irises.